WWE 2K19 is widely regarded as one of the best wrestling games of the past decade, and I believe it's overrated. A few months back, during my review of WWE 2K24, I made a comment about how I didn't enjoy Yuke's run of games in the mid-2010s. Even though the video was about 2K24, the top comments were defending 2K19. Someone even told me to go play Street Fighter. I feel like there's a big misconception about WWE 2K19. Most people believe that it's the best out of Yuke's PS4 era games, and that's something I agree with. But being the best out of a mediocre run of games does not automatically make you a great game. It just makes you better than average, and that's exactly what I believe WWE 2K19 is. An okay, if a bit unremarkable wrestling game that was blown out of proportion because at the time, people hadn't seen a good wrestling game since 2K14. In this video, I'll show you why I believe WWE 2K19 is not a great game, and even though I'm sure this will be my most unpopular video yet, I hope I can adequately show you where I'm coming from. Let's check it out. My problems with WWE 2K19 start with its gameplay. Most of it is fine. Matches are a bit slow in pacing, but everything works well and there's a large variety of things you can do. Chain wrestling and rest holds are two things that 2K19 has that 2K24 doesn't, but I don't really care about them. It's fine if they're there and fine if they're not. Generally, most of the gameplay is good until you run out of stamina. From 2K15 to 2K19, Yuke's had an obsession with stamina. In every match you had a stamina bar which depleted with every move you did. The purpose of that was to convey the wear and tear wrestlers gain throughout a match. While this is realistic, in a video game setting it's very annoying. Your stamina depletes very quickly. Once it reaches zero, that's when the real fun begins. You can't run, you can't execute special moves, and the only thing left for you to do is wait around to recover it. Now, I challenge anybody watching this video to name me a video game title from any genre where waiting is fun. I have expected 2K19 to ask me to buy gems to refill my stamina. This of course was all done in the name of realism, but I don't get why Yuke's kept trying to make a realistic game out of something that in and of itself is not realistic. Wrestling can be many different things and it usually depends on its participants. A wrestling match can be very fast-paced or very slow or somewhere in between, but a constant through all matches throughout wrestling history is that a wrestler will almost never be too tired to run or too tired to execute a move. So when the game is telling me to wait 3 to 5 business days to execute a finisher, I find that extremely tedious. I think you can pinpoint a place in time where real-life wrestling was closer to video games than the video games themselves. You'd have guys like Kenny Omega pulling off amazing feats of athleticism for incredibly long matches, and then you'd go play 2K19 and everybody would be out of stamina within 4 minutes. To be completely fair, this stamina system could work if you're trying to replicate a WrestleMania main event type of match where everybody is tired and constantly selling, but for anything else, it didn't work for me. While stamina is annoying, what really made me tired of 2K19 was its My Player mode. 2K19's My Player has a groundbreaking story. You start from the indies and wait for it, you rise to the top of WWE. I am so done with this story. From March till now, I've played 3 distinct wrestling games that have had the exact same story with some minor changes. Do you even begin to comprehend what it does to a man to play through 40 hours of formulaic and predictable stories? Here's the formula: you play 3 to 5 matches in the indies, you join the WWE, and then slowly play through uninteresting feuds until one of those uninteresting feuds is about the world title. And the reason why the feuds are so uninteresting are because, again, they're also formulaic. Somebody does something to piss off your character, the protagonist has a match with the heel's undercard friend, then he beats the heel at the pay-per-view. Repeat for 10 plus hours. This is incredibly boring, and even worse is the fact that it's done through stilted acting and no action. Everybody sits around and talks with barely any emotion for minutes on end without any camera cuts. It's like watching 2 mannequins dubbed with AI voices in an indie film with a $3 budget. I can't even show you an example clip because the retention bar would look like it skydived off the International Space Station. I even started missing the Road to WrestleMania modes where you got 5 fully fleshed out stories that were usually interesting. And when a mode makes you think about playing another game, that's usually not a good sign. Finally, 2K19 even manages to ruin the one thing I always enjoy about My Player modes, and that's creating my character. In 2K19, most customization options are locked behind paywalls. Your options are either to pay an exorbitant amount of VC for them or get them in packs. So when you're creating your character, you don't even get a chance to personalize him. You just choose between 5 options and you have to pack the rest. This has to be one of the most asinine decisions I've ever seen in a game. They took the one thing My Player modes are are guaranteed to get right and monetized it to oblivion. The nail in the coffin for me was opening the packs themselves was a slow and egregious process. I don't know how I had them, but I did have a lot of pack opening currency. However, opening packs took so much time that I opened a few and then kept playing with my default stuff. As you may have understood, I hated my time with my player. The rest of the game is decent, things like Showcase, Towers and Universe are all here and they work well enough. All in all, WWE 2K19 is an okay game with some missteps taken with its gameplay and a terrible my player mode. I really don't understand why this game gets soured with praise. So let's start a discussion in the comments. I'll be replying to as many of them as I can. And that was my analysis of WWE 2K19. If you want to see how its glitzy mess of a sequel did, click this video to watch my review of WWE 2K20. See you in the next one.